Welcome to LongBox Paradox, episode 86. I am Dan with my co-host Jennifer at Comic Books Will Break Your Heart, or on YouTube, Comics Will Break Your Heart. And I'd love to say we have a fun-filled, exciting episode. I don't know, because not as much came out this week as I thought was going to come out.
You know, I'm actually really excited about the level of, amount of stuff that came out. I thought that there was enough for me, but granted, I'm reading a lot right now, so I'm glad it wasn't 20 books. It was, 6, 7.
The stuff that did come out, though, I was overall fairly happy with, for the most part. So I kind of wanted to start out with something I know we both picked up, so we'll just go ahead and discuss it. Philadelphia, the graphic novel, came out.
It sure did.
And Image went back to the $9.99 price point, which I think for the first trade is the ideal price point if you want to bring new readers on. If you follow me on Instagram, I was kind of going on and on, kind of promoting it, and Rodney Barnes actually slid into my DMs and was happy, kind of showed a little bit of love for it. Sean Alexander as well. I know you had picked up the singles, but you kind of fell behind on reading it, but picked it up pretty much because of me going on and on about it.
Yeah, if it hadn't been for you talking about it, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. And I think I missed out on issue number 6. And so seriously thinking about buying 6 issues for $4 a piece, $20
or $10.
Yeah. So thinking about that and thinking about this for $10, for sure, this is such a good deal. Yes, this is very good deal.
Also, for anybody who's interested in getting a signed copy of number 1, Rodney Barnes signed and sent them to Andrew at Comic Book Campaign, who does his boxes. They will be in this month's box. He has plenty left. It's basically geared around for readers. Go ahead and check out his site, comicbookcampaign.com. But Rodney Barnes just sent them to him signed, just as a nice thing. Leanna Kangas does stuff for him too constantly. Yeah. Check out, was it She Will Destroy, or am I thinking of the HBO show She Will Destroy?
She Said Destroy.
She Said Destroy. Okay. Yeah. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
So did you read it?
Yeah.
Or did you? Okay.
This is so. I actually picked up. I've been doing my 100 graphic novels in a month challenge / Descent into Madness. And I picked up 3 yesterday. So I picked up this one, so Philadelphia. And then I also picked up the trade for The Marked and Undiscovered Country, all published by Image. So I already read this one, read Philadelphia, and then I'm going to read the other 2 as part of my
I did not like The Marked.
I got the first couple issues, didn't read the rest, and I still want to give it a chance, so we'll see.
So did I oversell Philadelphia, or? No.
And I think that it was a really good, interesting read, and part of it had been spoiled a little bit, but not really, because anything to me that was really spoiled, you find out within the first 2 issues. So it's not it was too big of a spoiler, but I still went into it, really enjoyed it, and I would love, I'm probably going to read this again in about another month or so. But last night I watched Candyman again for the first time in a little bit, and I don't know if it's because it was fresh, I had just watched it, but I got the subtle way that Candyman talks and brings race into it,
very
and
much.
Issues of racism. I totally got those vibes from Philadelphia, and it just makes me even more excited for the Candyman, the new movie coming out.
So the John Adams issue 3.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Him going through the world. I am actually excited about the Jordan Peele produced Candyman that. Don't know if we're going to see or not, because that could very well get pushed, because now they pushed themselves back into Halloween spot after Halloween moved. But
yeah,
I guess it depends on what they think it's going to bring in, if they're actually going to put it out. There is a lot of things going. There's a family dynamic between the father and the son, and their stressed out relationship. The youth, I can't remember his name, and his kind of disillusion. Tevin and his
Tevin.
disillusionment with John Adams. John Adams fucked up relationship with Abigail, which, I mean, guys, this book, there's so much going on in it, and Rodney Barnes does such a fantastic job of weaving the story together and takes tropes from other stuff. Like, again, I always said it, like, remind me of The Wire mixed with a little bit of Guillermo del Toro's The Strain, and how the cops would deal with, in the city, a vampire uprising.
Yeah.
Jason Sean Alexander's art has this, like, dirt and grittiness to it.
And it's very kinetic. Like, it moves, even though it's still, like, that movement on the page is very fluid.
It fits also the kind of urban element of the story, like the urban horror.
Yeah.
It's an 8.5, 9 for me. Like, at $9.99, just go out and buy it. Like,
for sure.
Take a chance. If you're a horror fan, I think this will kind of tickle your fancy a little bit. Like, it gives you a little bit of everything.
I feel like I've been trying to determine, like, some of the best new horror, because when I think, like, when we think about the horror as a genre, we do think those, like, classic, we put them on a pedestal, like, oh my goodness, like Halloween and Freddy and Jason and, like, all of those. And I think that when I think about, like, new modern horror, and I think about everything that Jordan Peele's been doing, like, this, to me, Philadelphia is so fresh with what horror can be. Like, I love what he's doing with Philadelphia.
The concepts, the underlying urban, like, how he's a disillusioned youth, Tevin. And, you know, the talks with his grandmother, and she's like, no, I want to die. I want to die with my dignity. And just that talk with him, and he's brokenhearted. And that girl who was the slave.
Who was, I can't even think of her name right now. But man, seriously, like, and when I think about I keep going back to, like, modern horror versus classic horror, and how back then you had this, like, boogeyman type character that if was basically this, if you're a bad teenager,
coming to get you,
I'm coming to get you. Like, the killer or the monster is the punishment for, you know, being a wild kid and, you know, coming into suburbia and ruining that. And when I think about what the stories that modern horror is telling, like, speaks to us in, like, a modern way, and the way that this one balances that, like, urban city life with the systemic racism and, like, issues like that, and slavery and everything that this is talking about, like, I love Philadelphia. It's really good.
I honestly, for just taking a new freshness on what is a beaten to death kind of category with vampires, I would put this up there with 30 Days a Night, where it's just this fresh take, or something you'd never think of. Like, the fact that they'd have a Revolutionary War hero decide he's going to change the world. It's fascinating. I never would have thought of that twist. It's fascinating. And yes, it may seem like we're kind of ruining the twist. It's out there so early, as Jen said.
Yeah.
Now, how you get to that point, I will never fucking ruin for you, because going through John Adams' life and seeing everything through his eyes and how he felt disrespected by history, fascinating. Just fascinating.
I also loved how John Adams, so, like, if you haven't caught on by now, like, John Adams is a vampire, and he's, like, in modern day, but there's a point where he goes and sees Hamilton, and I felt like that was so relevant, like, especially because Hamilton's on Disney Plus right now, and it seems like everyone's finally getting a chance to watch it if you haven't already seen it on Broadway or anything like that. So, like, having him and it's a blip, him talking about Hamilton, I just thought that was, like, kind of adorable.
It literally was a panel.
Yeah, it was a panel. So it's not like there's a spoiler or anything like that, but it was kind of neat how he touched on watching Hamilton.
So if anybody couldn't tell, we are very bullish on this book.
Yep.
Strangely enough, this is only available at your local comic shops right now. You cannot get it on Amazon for another 2 weeks. So Again, 8.5, possibly a 9 for me, which for me is a very strong rating. I have been like an early supporter of this book, and I have gone on and on about it in a way that for being a non-Remender book. JS, we are talking about Philadelphia in my hand right now. Just came out in trade, and awesome book. Go check it out if you have not read it yet, especially if you have that need for horror.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to what Ren said before, Candyman, is that one of those horror movies that's better than people give it credit for? Because it kind of, I feel when you talk about the great horror movies, it gets lost.
100% it gets lost. And I watched the documentary, basically. Hello. I watched the documentary on Shudder about, Black horror, and it talked a little bit about like how, yes, it should be in there with the big monoliths of horror. However, like there are some things that are problematic, and even though we do see a black villain, and his villainness is rooted in racism, and how it can be problematic because in Candyman, like you do see him like lusting after the white woman, and that's a very problematic issue when we think about people like Emmett Till, who died because he was accused of lusting after a white woman in that very tragic history. So when we talk about it, are we talking, I still think that it holds up, even though like, yes, it is problematic in some ways, but like literally I watched it recently and I love it. To me, it holds up more than even like Chucky. Like I went back and watched Chucky recently and it was so campy, and I feel like Candyman wasn't campy.
Oh no, it's not campy at all.
No.
That and People Under the Stairs, I think, are both movies that they could have gone campy, they could have gone bad real quickly, and they masterfully dealt with what was going on, like race relations.
Yeah.
Sorry, hold on one sec. Just for people that might have missed it. Damn it.
Oh, are you doing the ticker?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not seeing it.
Technical, difficult. Okay, there it goes. Okay, Philadelphia as strong by 100%. I think that if you like Image Comics, you should buy Philadelphia if you haven't already. If you want a horror book, you should buy it immediately. If you just want a good story, like it's all of these things. It's not just horror, it's a good history lesson, and it's very relevant as well.
What's up, Dilbot? All right, JS, we'll get into this. Don't have enough stories that the ones we do have end up being representative and monolithic, so they can't afford to be problematic.
Yeah.
100%, and also there's so much money involved. There is a fear. There's 100% of a fear.
I would 100% bring something like this up whenever we talk about female superhero movies. And when I think that, when I think about how people, are very much in this like love-hate relationship with the Captain Marvel movie. And it's like, or even Dark Phoenix, some of these movies bombed at the box office, or they didn't hold up to the male counterpart movies. And it's like, how many shitty male superhero movies do we need before someone's like, oh, male superhero movies just don't do well at the box office? And it's like, we have one or two of the only female superhero movies that come out, and they're glaringly shitty, or they just don't hold up for everyone, and people are like dismissing it, like, oh, we don't need female superhero movies.
Wait, whoa, Dracula motherfucker. Wait, whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this. Hold on.
I feel like every week, like even like talking on Instagram for Angie, and like you give so many good recommendations, and like I've got to keep up with you because like,
October 7th.
Okay.
by Alex DeCampi and Erica Henderson. Wow, I did not know about that.
100%.
Wonder Woman
I agree.
Wonder Woman was great. Like, I honestly think though part of the Captain Marvel problem is 100% Brie Larson, just because people got turned off by her. But I mean, it's neither here nor there.
I think that if you take a look and you the same arguments that people have against female-led superhero movies, if you hold that up and you take those topics and you try to apply them to other ones, like any other movie, then you're gonna hate every fucking movie that comes out, and that's just toxic fandom, and it sucks. It sucks.
All right, let's.
Okay, so now to the reviews, like, single issues. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Do you want to go first, or?
I have a feeling we might hit some of the same ones, so I will go first then. Adventure Man #2.
That was going to be mine as well.
Matt Fraction, Rachel Dodson. So this issue had a lot more going on and actually started getting to the point. The magic of it all, I guess, started. Mm-hmm. Terry Dodson's art is so fucking on point, especially with our main heroine, our antagonist. Or protagonist. Yeah. I really enjoyed it, and then kind of once she gets into the fortress, the weird shit going on, and you find out, you know, how capable she is. Yeah. And again, the Dodson's art is just fantastic. Matt Fraction's humor doesn't really come out as much as I thought it would in it. There's a couple of moments here and there. I strongly liked it, though. I'm in for it. I weirdly had a little bit of Magic Order pop into my head a little bit, just with
the character design, I feel like.
That could be, because Cordelia and our heroine here are kind of the same look, I think, possibly.
Yep. I agree. Like, I really enjoyed it, and I read #1 a month ago. And I think I was very put off by the title. I'm like, I don't need another Adventure Man. Like, this is just going to be some generic superhero movie or superhero comic book, and I'm just not going to be into it. And this has defied all expectations for me. So if your local comic book shop still has issue #1 and issue #2 just came out, I highly recommend it. It's on my pull list now, and I know, like, I'm just going to be in for the ride. So I'm definitely... issue #3, 4, 5, 6, those come out, that'll be at the top of my pile.
There is a restrained Matt Fraction. There really is. It seems to be by the genre that, because like I remember when he was on Iron Man, he was very, very restrained. Yeah. November, I'd say he's fairly restrained.
Kind of. He has some like fun concepts, but when I think about things like sex criminals and that, it gets a little bit wacky and weird. This one is fun, but it's not that like weird brand of Matt Fraction.
Vigilante, you just put this on my radar now.
Baba Yaga.
I will look for this because now I'm curious. Definitely Adventure Man is a buy for me. Still not giving you a lot about what's going on. I'm sitting probably about a 7 on it, but completely enjoying it.
Well, I think 7.5, 8 for me, but I always rate things a little high because I just want to go in very optimistic. But there's enough. He's giving you enough with each issue, like little like breadcrumbs in each issue, but where you still know where you're at. Like, there are other books, and I'm not even going to name the title of this one book that we keep bringing up, but that you read it and you're lost, and you're like, I know I just read this issue, but what the fuck is going on? And then I read issue #2. What the fuck is going on? And I don't even enjoy it. This, like, Adventure Man, you're laughing because you know.
I went to issue 3 and I still don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So I'm not, I'm not gonna like. I'm gonna, oh my god, subtle, whatever. So, anyways, with Adventure Man #2 and Adventure Man #1, like, he leaves enough breadcrumbs to be like, okay, this is kind of what's going on, but I'm still going to leave a little bit of mystery where you're enjoying what you're reading, but you're going to pick up the next couple issues. So I really like, that's very, very specific writing right there.
Yours.
Oh, so Adventure Man was totally on my list. So that was like another one. But one of the books that this one surprised me, and I will be completely honest, I only picked it up because of the cover. I ended up really, really enjoying it, and it's Willow. I picked it up for the Jen
Bartel. I almost picked it up.
And I have, once again, I have that like love-hate relationship with Joss Whedon. I won't talk about it right now. Maybe that's for another issue. But it's written by Mariko Tamaki. Natasha Bustos does the art. And I'm going to totally fuck this name up. But Eleonora Bruni does the colors. So anyways, I picked this up. I really enjoyed it. I think that if you are enjoying that like new Sabrina type vibe, you would enjoy this as well. And Sabrina just got canceled on Netflix. We're going to get one more season and then it's, canceled. So I think, and that'll come out later this year, I think I heard. So I think that if you liked that brand of Sabrina where it's like a little witchy, but this one doesn't go as far witchy, but it's still adorable. I never got into Buffy or Willow, Charmed, like any of those when it was coming out, and I think it's a little bit too late for me to go and like rewatch them because they're a little bit dated and aged. However, this was really good. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it probably 7 out of 10. It was good.
For me, Batman 94. James Tynion with Guillaume March, the prelude to Joker War. I hate Guillaume March's art.
Would you on a level of like 10 to how much I liked the art of Lock and Key, what would you rate it as, like for your dislike of the artwork?
My problem is this is your top flight book. Like, Batman is your best seller. It's like X-Men. You want to have your best artist on this book.
Yeah.
This is not their best artist. It's basic bitch art. Like, I hate his Catwoman art. And that's kind of one of those things that is annoying to me. The story, it's all build up for this Joker War. Batman, they have a flashback to him meeting the hero that the designer beat, and I could go on for the whole designer thing being shitty. They also brought back one of the worst things from the Tom King run, the bat, cat, bat. And she's like, oh, it's been a minute since you've called me that. I was like, it hasn't been fucking long enough. Like, knock it the fuck off. Don't go there, Tynion. Please don't. Like, don't make me hate you.
What would you rate it?
It's a 5. Like, there's nothing.
Like, what are some of the redeeming qualities here? Like, why would someone pick this up? Like, just because they're picking it up and reading it, or
so why they pick it up? The cover was good.
Okay.
Like, there's just nothing to it. Like, and again, like, I don't know why I expect more out of it, but like, it's just build up and fluff to get to. It's like a filler episode of your favorite anime. Like, you're like, but this isn't in the manga. Why is this here? Why does this need to be here? And it's disappointing because it did start out really well. And I know everything is to get to Joker War. We have Jorge or George Jimenez taking over the art. And like, he's putting on Twitter all his posts, and I'm really liking seeing the art coming out for it. Yes, 5 is average. 5 is like, I'm just treading water. It's like being a C student. You're not failing, but you're not really excelling.
I feel like my ranking system is a blend of whose line is it anyways? The it's not real and the points don't matter at all, and then a food critic, but that only critiques mouthfeel. Like, it's this blend of like, just how do I feel about it? Like, what is this thing that I can't describe, but it's there? And it's almost like, I've heard the relationship like, uh, what's the definition of porn? Like, there's not a definition, but you know it when you see it. And I feel like those are the three like things that encompass my rating system. Is like, how do I feel about it? The points don't really matter, and it's just something you gotta like know.
Like there's episodes I did when it was just me, when I had to review, I didn't have to, but I did Tom King's Batman, and it was also Rob Liefeld's Major X, where I'm just confused, befuddled, and trying to find the words. And literally, you could have played Benny Hill's Yakety Sax, and it would have fit in perfectly.
Yeah.
So your next review, I know that was very...
No, that's okay. Once again, that book that I'm not going to name, but that's how I think about, or maybe like just a carousel, like chiming, the one book that we both just did not like, didn't get anywhere. So anyways, I guess that would technically be my 2 picks. But then I guess I'm going to say my last pick for my third is going to be Bitterroot. This is a book that just consistently has been shining for me. I can't recall if it was the last issue or the issue before. This one, they ended up going down to Georgia, and the main story takes place in 1917, I believe, and then this is in the 1920s, so it's going a little bit, like there was a little bit of a jump in the last couple issues, but this one is just, it's so good, and it's so much fun. I love that Jen is just like, my scores are the definition of 100%. Like, I have no clue, but seriously, just go with it and come on a wild ride with me on weird ass shit and me describing the weird ass shit. So anyways, Bitterroot is, I really enjoy it. I think it's fantastic. I'm very curious where this one's going to end up, because this one, issue number 8, is going to be kind of like the mid of the arc for this new one. So I'm kind of curious how I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I'm curious on where they're going to go with it. The artwork is just, it's fantastic. It's that this in a different way, but the same way that we talk about the artwork for Philadelphia. It's just kinetic. It's on the page and it's not moving, but it moves and you go with it. So I think, because I would probably rate this one, even though I just gush about it, I wouldn't give it like a 10 out of 10, because we've already been introduced to all the characters and, like, the concepts that this world is bringing us. So it's not up there, I think, simply because of those things. But this one would be a solid like 8 out of 10, 100%. So what's your next pick?
The God Loves, Man Kills extended cut, number 1 of 2. Yeah. So it's kind of cheating, because this was a original graphic novel back in the day. Also, one of, it could be considered topical still, where this Reverend Stryker basically is waging a religious war against mutant kind, basically, that they should be exterminated. And of course, the X-Men have always dealt with hot button topics like this. And Brent Anderson's art. Hey, newbie, how's it going?
Hey, I'll be trying to pop on to your stream a little bit later today, but that's like in like 3 hours or so, I think.
At 9:00 tonight, newbie has Mama Comic on for Women in Comics, episode 3, I think. So go check out his channel. I like to cross promote. He's been great with us, so please check out his show. And okay, so God Loves Man Kills.
X-Men.
Kitty Pryde. It's a very Kitty Pryde centric story, and Kitty Pryde is my favorite X character, because she was about the same age I was when I was growing up. Just a real powerful story. This is Magneto, Eric Lenscher, when he's basically part of the X-Men. He was their headmaster at one point. I love this story. The art's great. This is like peak Claremont, and you have to remember, like, the X-Men were that book where they hit all those topics, the stuff that people didn't want to talk about. Social issues, it's a thing I heard. Like, not in comics though. Not in comics.
Weird.
Highly recommend. The extended cut has all kinds of notes in the back from the writer and the creators, which I love those footnotes of how they come up with it. Next issue will have the second part of it, but these old original graphic novels that Marvel used to put out were like super topical back then. Especially
and they still are.
There was the one where Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange go to hell to try and get his mother's soul back. His thing was Love and Torment. There was just stuff that they didn't put in the regular graphic novels or regular issues.
I think that, I didn't pick this one up because, like, having read, I was like, I'm not going to pick it up. But now, like, after hearing you talk about that, I'm probably, when I'm done here, I'm going to, like, message my local comic shop and be like, if you have any left, can you please, like, hold one for me and go ahead and put issue number 2 on my pull list? And I think that sometimes people don't buy the and I'm guilty of this, obviously, because I just said it, but people don't buy the reprints because we think, like, oh, they're not going to be as valuable, or, like, I've already read this story.
Can't get the trade anymore.
But, yeah, exactly. So I think that if you want to read it and you want to read it not digital, or even if you want to buy it for the resale value, like, obviously you're not going to get as much for the original one, but I think I should have picked it up, and I wish I had,
So we're going to segue into not your reading list just yet.
One thing I did want to, I forgot to mention it earlier about Adventure Man really quick. Because this one started getting published right before, like, in May. And my favorite part of Adventure Man number 2 is that in the back, Matt Fraction, or Team Adventure Man, so Matt Fraction, Terry Dodson, goes into, some of the protests and stuff that we're seeing now, and gives a list of resources. So I thought that was really cool. I would highly recommend picking Adventure Man 2 up, like, almost just for this. It was really good. Like, resources like for white parents to raise anti-racist children, books to read, more resources, and another couple things. Like, there was some resources for Women for Sobriety and RAIN. So that was a really cool feature of Adventure Man number 2. So.
Okay. So we're going to go into the entertainment section of our show. Also, I'll top it off right away that I didn't buy this on sleeping pills. I watched this, and my friend recommended that maybe we do a review of it. And Fear, starring Mark Wahlberg, back when he first started, it is batshit bananas. I'd almost say it's a horror movie. Mark Wahlberg is so fucking phenomenal in it as just, what do you want me to do, Nicole? I saw the guy putting his paws all over you, so I had to kill him. I just had to.
I saw the clips that you posted, and I thought that I had watched Fear. I don't know if I've ever, maybe I watched it when I was too young and just didn't grasp it, but I'm definitely going to be watching it now. So
it was $14.99 from Amazon. I was like, you know what? I don't own it for some reason. I need to own this. So we're going to be talking about this movie at some point. But so yesterday there was some news from Universal. John Carpenter put out the letter. Basically, Halloween Kills has now been pushed back to 2021, October of 2021, not summer 2021, October. Some interesting things in the letter. One of them in particular really caught me, that we're not going to do VOD because it can be pirated and it'll be on torrent sites within 2 hours. And I kind of felt that was a real fear of it, especially the last Halloween movie did $500 million because people were thirsty for it. But also, I think they got scared out of that spot.
Yeah.
Because all these summer movies, Tenet, Mulan, they're all going to start pushing back to holiday. Candyman, I don't think we see Candyman in October. I really don't.
No. My biggest fear about this is that Dune will get knocked back. Like they're gonna say, well, we had to knock all these other movies back.
Dune's gone, in my opinion. Dune's already gone. They just haven't said it.
I don't want to accept it because I honestly thought that we would see a trailer by now, and we haven't seen a trailer. So I'm really hoping that they're not going to knock Dune back. So until they announce it, I'm going to still grasp on to a little bit of hope. So
when they started saying they were doing reshoots, I started going, okay, like maybe it's done, and I could see easily summer 2021 now.
Yeah.
Which it feels like it'd be a better summer movie than a holiday movie.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, there's the whole tradition of people going and seeing a movie on Christmas. Like, I don't celebrate holiday. Halloween's the only holiday that I celebrate, and Christmas is not one of them. I'm like so staunchly anti-Christmas, but that's my Christmas tradition, is going and seeing a movie, and I don't think I'll be doing that this year.
Yes, Vigilante and I talked about this yesterday, and I was like, the only thing that could save it is doing drive-ins.
Yeah, and that was another thing that I heard, that, you know, how can we do movie theaters in a drive-in right now? Like, how does that even work right now? Because most theaters aren't set up for that type of.
No.
And even I got rid of my car. I don't have a car anymore. I have a little local theater that's in an old theater, so it's like stage style seating, which is kind of fun. But how do you do social distancing in a movie theater?
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to like block off seats and stuff, and then you have someone who wants to bring their whole family, and then, you know, what are you gonna do?
Yep.
There's stuff I don't think they've thought out. I don't know how they can do it, and there's no way to have the VOD type movies where someone can't just have a capture card hooked up, unless they make it so that some encryption that it just won't be able to be captured. But
yeah,
who knows? But I mean, we're getting to that point, unless they're. I mean, who's going to be the one that just goes, fuck it, put it out on DVD or Blu-ray and let people have to fucking buy it?
Yeah, I think that there will still be some movies, like for instance Dune. If they went ahead and said, okay, we're going to do a digital release of Dune, it's going to be $20 to watch it, and then like I would go ahead and do that, and then say a year from now they're like, okay, we're going to go ahead and put it in theater. I'm like, oh, I've already paid $20 to buy it digitally, but I still want that theater experience. I want to see Dune on the big screen. I want to see Usul call a big one. You know, I still want to see that.
Basically, everybody seems to be playing wait and see with what the game of chicken with Christopher Nolan's Tenet. That seems to be the tentpole release that everybody's like, okay, what do we do? Also, Mulan with Disney. Like, Disney, on one hand, I think is afraid pissing off the theaters, but on the other hand, they want that money.
At the same time, I think that they specifically are in a very good point, because with Disney Plus, you know, they have the ability to just go ahead and put it on Disney Plus. They have the like logistics, and they have the foundation set up to start doing this. Like, could you imagine not going to a theater and seeing a Disney movie? Like, say in 5-10 years, like that's just not a thing. You just watch it on Disney Plus, or you buy it on Disney Plus. And I think that Disney, if they really wanted to, could start doing that. And they have the power as like a big conglomerate, where I think that they have the logistics where they can do it successfully. But I don't know if there are other production companies and things like that that have that power still to say, well, we're going to fuck over theaters, and that means terminating our relationship with theaters from now on.
There's also, like, I could see also, you know how like with rentals now, or the VODs, where you get 24 hours to watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
Where you literally have the time of the movie. Like, you start it, you're finishing the movie.
Yeah. That was why I had to rent The Lighthouse twice, because I didn't watch it the first time, fell asleep halfway through, and then watch. And I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and watch it. And then, but I think it was either 99 cents or $1.99. So to pay $4 to like watch it twice, it wasn't too bad. But they're not going to make it $1.99 to rent a movie. They're going to make it $9.99, or I think that they'll probably go up in price to make up for what they're losing from not being in the theaters.
I could see them like doing you don't get the 24 hours you get when you start the movie. That's what you get, and then there's no replays of it. You're just done.
Yep.
It's gonna be interesting to see where this goes, because right now I think August 12th is the last date they moved Tenet to, and I easily can see them going, let's try October now. And Wonder Woman, I forget where the fuck that got moved to.
Yeah, and then Black Widow, New Mutants. Like, are we ever going to see New Mutants? Ever? I feel like I've been talking about this movie for like 5 years now.
It's been 5 years. New Mutants is a movie that I would like to see them just put on Disney Plus.
I think that they could easily do that one. And, maybe what it could even be is it could be, we were going to say $9.99 to rent this movie. However, we're going to bump it up to $12.99, and that extra $2-3 is going to go towards theaters. Like, we're going to give this percentage of it to IMAX and Regal and Paramount, whatever the theater companies. We're going to go ahead and we're going to give some of that money to theaters. We'll kill this universe and whatever. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe, you know what? I think you have a good point. Maybe New Mutants, there is a time traveler that's going back into our time to stop us from watching New Mutants, because it will rip the fabric of the universe apart. We've all went back to the theaters just to rewatch movies we've seen 1,000 times. Yeah.
I've also gone back to see Star Wars Episode 1 7 times because I couldn't believe I didn't like it when it came out.
Fucking hate Star Wars now. I don't think I will ever go see another Star Wars movie. I don't think I'll ever go see a Star Wars movie in theater ever again. If I haven't already been banned from my local one and they didn't let me know.
We got a lot of requests to start talking about TV shows and movie adaptations. So the 10th tomorrow, Old Guard drops.
Yeah.
So next week we'll be watching the Old Guard and discussing that, because I already saw early reviews and it's fucking great. And some news with Charlize Theron hit this week that was disappointing, because I know you're a huge Mad Max Fury Road fan, and we'll Furiosa, and to find out she's not in it.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but with Mad Max, whatever sequel, thank you.
Prequel, I think it's going to be a prequel.
So it's going to be a prequel. So, hearing that she's not coming back didn't necessarily surprise me, because if they do cast someone to be her younger, like, how young are we going? Is it going to be like a 12, 13-year-old heroine?
It's Anna Taylor-Joy, the girl playing Magic, is going to be playing Furiosa.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to say either that or the girl who plays Negasonic, Teenage Warhead.
Brianna Hildebrand.
Yeah, that sounds right. I don't know. Who knows? But I think that depending on how young, because obviously she couldn't go back and play someone that young. So I think if we do get that, and that would be a really cool way for I don't know, I think of Hunger Games. Like, I think about that young adult heroine. I think that would be a cool way to bring the next generation into Mad Max. So
I have not played the video game. I had heard it was good, but I did read the comic book from Vertigo.
I browsed through the comic book and I immediately hated it, so I never picked it back up again. I just felt like it, I don't know, problematic.
I started watching the Watchmen HBO series. I got to episode 4, and mentally I just wasn't in a good place to be watching it, because it just... the imagery and everything, and it was a little rough to get through, but it was good. But I was getting depressed watching it.
For sure. And so I think that when I started watching Watchmen, I watched it on like week 3 when it started coming out. Like I had missed the first couple weeks. And then that was like the show that I need. I think it was Sunday night. And I'm like, this is the show that I have to watch every Sunday night. And it was so good. I really love Watchmen, but I think that it is one of those hard shows to binge watch in an entire day because there is just so much. Like, I feel like you get a mind fuck at the end of episode 1, and then you get a mind fuck at the end of episode 2, and then it does some weird shit with Ozymandias, and you're like, what the fuck is going on with this?
The people being hung, and we actually had that happening not too long ago, and I was like, boy. Like,
and seriously, like, Watchmen is so relevant for what's going on in the world right now, like this relationship between figures of authority, whether that be vigilantes and police, and that relationship, and just the discussions of systemic racism that we're having right now. Man, I loved Watchmen, the HBO series, so much. So I know that you said that you like stopped at episode 4, but when you get a chance to go back, man, it's good.
I will. I said Old Guard will be the next one I binge, and then we have The Boys season 2 coming up, and also Umbrella Academy. So we've got some stuff coming. There was a new Umbrella Academy trailer the other day, and also another one for The Boys too, which focused on Billy Butcher.
And then I'm still trying to get through Doom Patrol. Like I really wanted to like it, but I don't know if I just wasn't in the right headspace. But I haven't been able to finish Doom Patrol yet, so we'll see.
I love Crazy Jane.
Yeah.
Okay, so now to dive into your insanity quest.
This is me diving into it.
So,
okay.
Before I take up my mantle and my sword to smack you for Sid. So is there a book that you had loved before that on these rereads you have not liked now?
There's 2 in particular, and you're not going to like my answer because they're both Rick Remender books. And, you know, I feel like when I originally read Low, I really enjoyed it. But then on my reread of Low, and maybe it's because I was catching some of them in single issue and then just this read of all of it together. And let me preface this with, I think that Rick Remender has fantastic, brilliant, beautiful ideas, but the execution just doesn't do it for me in these forms, right? And I love Matteo Scalera's art, and I love Greg Ticini's art, and like I told you, this is my hot take for Greg Ticini's art, is that he saw a naked lady when he was like 17 years old and cannot draw a lady that doesn't look like that now, because every single female form in Low looks exactly the same to me. He draws them like wispy, and even these characters that I'm like, I really want to like these characters because they're unique and they're powerful, and in true Remender fashion, everyone's fucked up, and I want to like these characters, but I do not like how he draws them whatsoever, even though the artwork is just beautiful. So that's my hot take on Low. And then Black Science, I just feel like it didn't land for me reading it.
So I had that problem with Monstrous when we read it as a trade. When I read the single issues, I really liked it. Like the slowness of it never hit me. And then when we read the trade for the book club, I was like, ooh, why is this? This just feels like it's going on forever.
So for anyone who doesn't follow me on Instagram and isn't seeing like what I'm reading every day, I'm reading 100 graphic novels in a month. Week 1, I did 25, and it was For the first day, it was Descender 1 through 4. And then the second day was Descender 5 and 6, and then Ascender 1 and 2. And then the next day was the first 3 volumes of Paper Girls. The next day was the following 4, 5, and 6 of Paper Girls. And then it went into Monstrous was day 5 or whatever it was, and I read 4 of those. Then I did a day where I did Black Science. Yeah. 100%, like Civil War.
My friend in Thailand got involved.
And so then the next day, I have all the books right here. So then the next day, I think I did Outer Darkness, Oblivion Song, and Farmhand in one day.
Oblivion
and then
Song is my trigger. I fucking hate that book.
I read the first issue of it, and like seriously, like I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of like this. And then I just read the trade, and I'm like, I fucking hate this. Like, there's no redeeming quality. Maybe the artwork is kind of a redeeming quality, but not really. And then let me think. I did the day where I did Black Science Volume 1 and 2 and Low Volume 1 and 2. And to your point about Monstrous, the day that I had to read all 4 volumes in one day, that was the day that if that wasn't, day 4 or 5, that would have been the day that fucking broke me, because reading all 4 issues of Monstrous, I was like tired at the end. I still really enjoy it. I'm glad that I've like read it before, because I was like able to keep a good pace with Monstrous. However, there's so much information and there's so much going on. The artwork is beautiful, but there's moments where we're reading internal dialogue and then reading on the page, and it was a lot. Hot take on Monstrous: read 1 volume a day if you're going to do that, or maybe 1 volume a week if you're going to do that. Do not do all 4 volumes in one day. Okay, so 100%, I will deliver on that. I will do daily updates. Yeah, so I do have I haven't like posted an update on Patreon, but if you go and follow me on Patreon for as little as $2 a month, you can support a girl in Oregon for less than a cup of coffee a month. You can support a girl in Oregon descending into madness, talking about comics. So I'll probably do like weekly updates on there. I do have my YouTube channel, but that'll be fewer and far between.
And for anybody else wanting to see Jen and I possibly get into an argument, we're doing Black Science for our Gambit's pick for the book club this month.
Yeah.
We never actually ever really argue.
I don't know.
We have some expressive moments here and there.
I don't know, man. And I think that there was almost an argument that erupted whenever we had the discussion, because I was making fun of you for the CD-ROMs, and then you went and came for my catchphrase, boy howdy, and you say that boy howdy doesn't work. So that would start an argument, because boy howdy, it works.
To be fair, I think the closest there was to a showdown was when I made the comment to Gambit about tattooing my ex with comic books I love.
Yeah.
That kind of caught him, and I think that was the closest to a possibly explosive moment.
Yeah. So for anyone who wants to know what reading 100 graphic novels in a month looks like, and wants to know what week 1 looks like, if I don't spill it everywhere, which may end up happening. So what it looks like is this. This is what week 1 looked like. It's a lot.
When do you get to the nail biters?
So whenever I did my initial list of like my rundown of 100, I kind of like mapped it out, and I think I had Nailbiter somewhere in week 3. And then I'm like, let me go ahead and just do like all image series in week 1. And so I think it's somewhere in week 3. I can't necessarily recall. But this week, other than these 3, because I picked them up this week, I'll probably do non-image books for the rest of the week. Yesterday I did, where's she at? Where my girl at? Yesterday was clean room, so I did this yesterday, and this was just so good. This was one of the ones that like I loved rereading this. It was just it did it for me. I did not descend into madness, luckily. If you can lift it, you can read it 100%. Like, do you even lift, bro? Lift that stack. I actually have these like dorky ass like 3-pound lifts that I do because I'm so weak, and I do like 10 reps and then I'm fucked. It's bad. I have no upper body strength whatsoever.
Is there a title that's in your stacks that you are nervous to read because you were iffy on it to start with, that it might, your opinion might shift in a pendulum way of back and forth?
I was almost afraid that was going to happen with Paper Girls, but it didn't. I loved it on the reread.
I still hate the end.
After rereading it all at once, like literally consuming all 6 volumes in 48 hours, I could see where that was at, because it was like all of a sudden they're going and going and going, and then it's like scaled back all of a sudden. However, I think that I can see how that needed to happen. So.
Are you doing Deadly Class, or is your Remender done at just those 2?
I don't know yet. I don't think I can do that one now, because that would probably just like break me and I would like just throw it down.
Tokyo Ghost is one I'm afraid to reread.
Especially because of Sean Murphy. I know that like there's some, supposed alleged ties to some Comicsgate stuff that it seems like he's involved with. And like you and I were kind of talking about Warren Ellis a little bit earlier, and I feel like I'm going to have that on my mind when reading it. So I'm probably not going to read or reread Tokyo Ghost, because it's been a few years, like what, 2015 that it came out?
I think 7 to Eternity, I still think like it has taken forever for it to come out, but that might be the characters aren't that shitty in this book. Well, not shitty characters, but just shitty people.
This upcoming week, or for the next upcoming week, since I'm doing this, I think there's a lot of like scattered stuff. So I when I did this like big buy, I bought a lot of stuff that I haven't read. So I'm gonna read stuff like Animal Man by Jeff Lemire, that run, and I'm gonna read. Let me think. I got Plastic Man by Gail Simone. So I think that those are going to be like, I don't know which way it's going to go. I'll either love it or I'll hate it, and we'll see.
I mean, yeah, it's steeped in the 80s, so yeah, like he can't get too wild with it. I would say like him and Hickman kind of have the thing where sometimes their ideas are bigger than their ability to flesh out fully.
Yeah. I'm thinking about rereading Tarot.
I forgot, yes, you're in Tarot 122. When is that out, or did it come out already?
I think didn't it already come out?
I'm not 100% sure, because I never see it in my shop. It's all special order.
Yeah. Let me think. I'm thinking about rereading East of West, but I don't know if that will be one of the ones where like it does end kind of abruptly, like it goes somewhere and then kind of stops. But it's one of my favorite series, and I love Jonathan Hickman, but I may save the last 2 days of my descent into madness for Saga.
I will look for this. I will make sure I get this, whether on digital, and I will check you out in it, Vigilante. Yeah, I know if I did my list, I probably would reread Preacher.
Yeah, I've got the first couple volumes, but I may or may not reread it. Spoiler alert, I die. Aw, boo. But how
if you die,
is that?
If you die grandly, though, that's where it counts.
True.
It would be a good death. Yeah, the 100 list, I don't think I could ever do, because I know at a certain point I'd get pissed off at something. Like I would just forget about something in a book and be like, oh, fuck you, and just
Yeah.
kind of like how I am with Game of Thrones, where like I'll start watching that last season, and I'll get to that one episode where it was completely dark, and I was just like, I can't see anything. The hell.
Game of Thrones, I know I've said it on this show before, and I'm just going to reiterate it. Like, anyone who watched Game of Thrones because of, I'll get to that in a second. So for anyone who watched Game of Thrones at my recommendation, I personally apologize to you, and I feel like you are owed monetary compensation. So I will give you $1 if if you tell me your Venmo, and I'll Venmo you $1 because I feel like you are owed something if I told you to watch Game of Thrones, because it was such a great show and it ended like a pile of shit, a pile of burning Khaleesi shit. I hated it so much. So where did this project come from? I assume that you're referring to like my 100 graphic novel read. Okay. So, last month, just over a month ago, I broke my foot, and I was literally just like sitting at home with my foot propped up, taking like as many like painkillers as I could without going like overboard. And the bookstore that I love near here did a huge sale, and and then I went ahead and like posted on my Instagram like, hey, if you have a book to recommend. And then like everyone on Instagram just came out with like so many good things that I've wanted to read and haven't had a chance to. And if I could find it used and, such a good deal. So I spent a couple $100 binge buying books on Under the Influence. And I'm like, fuck, I've already got a huge to be read pile, and now it's like even more. So that's how this came up, and I'm having fun, even though some of the books I hate.
Why are you looking at me?
Me?
Why? Yeah, books I hate.
Oh, yeah. I've always described that I have a love-hate relationship with Rick Remender, and I honestly thought that it was going to turn more into love. And after the rereading of Low and Black Science, it's not as much love. Pile of the latest nickname for King's Landing. Yep, Pile of Burning Khaleesi. That last season just fucking broke me.
She's my queen. Oh, that's a lot. That's the bat cat of that series.
Yeah, I mean, someone told me they're like, the Game of Thrones is based off of like this actual thing happening in whatever, and Bran's going to be
19 different things.
Yeah, and Bran's going to be, the king. And they told me that at the beginning of the season, and I'm like, nah, that'll never happen. So maybe part of it was just like my own disappointment. But
I just wanted when they like Bran the Broken, him going, "Hey, asshole!"
Yeah,
like everybody knows I'm crippled. Like, do we need to call me the Broken? Like, come on.
Yeah, right. Like,
I'm not liking your ableism. It's a microaggression, dwarf.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to the Game of Thrones books. If we ever get those, who knows?
He is in a cabin somewhere typing away because he made the update saying, "I'm making great progress."
I've
been hearing that for a couple of years.
Yeah, I've been hearing that for way too damn long. So we'll see. But I am looking forward to some of the other reads that I have. Best read of the project so far and most anticipated upcoming read. I think that for me, the Clean Room was really enjoyable. Again, I love Gail Simone's writing, but seriously, one of the best other reads, Philadelphia is really good.
Most anticipated upcoming read. Did you put Sandman in your read pile or no?
No, because I really wanted to get through a lot of like the reason why like this happened, or I read series, was because like I bought volume 6 of Paper Girls, but I wanted to reread the other one. So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and just read the whole series. I don't know if I'm ready for Sandman to like go ahead and read that, even though because of the upcoming show, because of the upcoming audiobook, which I'm really excited about, I'll probably not put Sandman on my list. I'll probably listen to whatever audiobook comes out, whatever that looks like. And
I want to go back and reread the J.H. Williams one because I remember
Overture.
when it came. I remember not loving it, but there was kind of gaps in between it coming out that maybe going back and reading it as one volume, I might enjoy it more.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, I love his art anyway, so I mean, what did you think of the Batwoman casting yesterday?
I'm stupid excited for it. I know that it's one of those where people are going to be like, well, what are they going to do? They're going to kill her so she can be a new character. And to be honest, I don't give a fuck what they do. I think that it's going to be beautiful. I think that I liked Ruby Rose as Batwoman, but I always imagined Batwoman is like bigger, taller, being like just higher stature, whatever.
Yeah.
And Ruby Rose didn't necessarily do that for me, even though she does a ton of other things for me, like on all levels. However, and I can't think of the actress's name, but like I was scrolling through her Instagram and I'm like, yes, please, I want to see this.
I don't want her to be Batwoman though, but like just treat as Batwoman's gone and have her as another. Because remember, there was Gail Simone did one of the different Batgirls, and there was one Tiffany Fox who was a Batgirl.
Yeah,
but like in the future, and I kind of would have preferred that at this point and just have Batwoman just be gone. But
when the show initially came out, I was like, I want to watch this because Batwoman's like my favorite. And then I wasn't crazy about the show. Like it just did not land for me. It was very CW tween stuff, I felt like. So I'll probably go back and maybe try to watch it, and then I'll at least watch the first episode of new casting.
it's curious to see how they're going to play it off. I saw that last night before I went to work. I was like, huh, okay. I don't really have heavy thoughts on it because I wasn't that attached to the Batwoman series because it just always kind of seemed eh.
I feel like maybe I'm very excited about this casting because I wasn't crazy about the show, even though I did initially think that Ruby Rose was going to be really good. So who knows at this point? The points don't, it's all made up and the points don't matter. So
I do want to watch Stargirl. I haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah. Several people have recommended that to me, and it's been really hard to keep up with like any of the shows coming out for me. But I'm going to give it a try. And probably after this month, after I do this insane read, but
yeah, because the JSA kind of cameos and stuff I kind of want to see, and Jeff Johns is so involved in the series, and the character is based off of his sister who died in the plane crash, so kind of a little bit of an emotional thing tied to it. So I have a feeling like all his energy went into it. Even though they're calling him the pariah of the DC movie universe.
Yeah. I think that whenever characters are based off of, because this character is based off of his little sister, I think that this show is going to be, it's not going to be sexually exploitive. And I feel like a lot of times that shows, movies, comics tend to do that to female characters, whether they're young or old. And obviously, like, that's problematic. But I think that and I haven't watched Supergirl, so I don't necessarily know, like, how, sexy tween they make her. But I feel like with Stargirl, because it's very personal, I feel like he wouldn't let that happen to Stargirl. So
no, and the character just in general isn't sexualized like that.
Yeah.
And you're going to take a quick look at next week.
Yeah.
Oh god, this is gonna be a painful week for me already. Um,
Painful as in like just
some of the stuff coming out is kind of not
eh.
my favorite.
Mm,
Family Tree #7, I'm excited about that, especially after the
yeah.
last issue. Gideon Falls #23. I stay with it. Ludocrats #3 of 5.
Ludocrats is so weird and delightful. I've really enjoyed the first 2 issues.
Moonshine 19. Old Guard Force Multiplied #5 of 5. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Savage Dragon #250 with a Rob Liefeld cover.
Okay, so extra toilet paper for the apocalypse. Got it.
There's also 32 covers for Rob Liefeld's Snake Eyes book for IDW. 32.
Okay.
Oh, yep, that's coming out this week for IDW. Marvel Comics, I, Wolverine. Amazing Spider-Man #44. Captain Marvel #17. Avengers #34 Marvel Wednesday variant. Conan Battle for the Serpent Crown, which, good God, I don't think I've read that since it's 2 months before the shutdown. Empire #1 comes out. I will check that out.
Empire with a Y, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Shows you how important it is because it's got a Y in it. Yeah. Giant size X-Men Magneto #1. That's going to be a thing for Sid because Magneto is her daddy.
Yeah, 100. You know, I'm conflicted because I don't know if it's like Magneto or if it's just Michael Fassbender, and it might just be Michael Fassbender.
You saw Shame, didn't you?
Shame?
Yeah.
No, but should I? Okay, now I've got to watch that.
He shows the Fassbender in it.
Ooh, yeah, I'll be watching that later today.
I was at the X-Men Days of Future Past panel at San Diego Comic-Con, and Ian McKellen was like 100% coming on to him. He's like, "Oh, I've seen your movie Shame, Michael.
Ooh.
I'm a fan." And it was just like, wow.
I mean, like, honestly, we're probably just looking at a prosthetic, but a girl can dream.
No, I heard that was the real Fast.
Ooh, okay. So in the words of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he hangs dong.
Immortal Hulk #35 comes out. I really like that book. Spider-Woman #2. I don't remember issue 1. I know it came out. I don't remember any of it. Venom #26 because Donny Cates needs another book at the top of the charts.
Yep.
There's looks like 12 Red Sonja issues, covers of the same book. Sacred 6 #1. Vampirella with like 9 covers. Yep. Faithless 2 #1 and Chris Anka variant second print. Faithless 2 #2 with an erotica cover. Once in Future #9, which I swear we just got.
#8, yeah.
Yeah.
Fassbender P, yeah.
Oh God. And I can't look up DC's list because
I feel like at this point, like, DC is dead to me.
So
you're dead to me, DC.
My LCS said they don't have any kind of like previews catalog that comes out anymore. You actually have to go download it from UCS.
Oh, like previews? Just they're not doing them anymore?
Nope.
Even if you like buy them, like they're not even letting you buy them, or
they don't. Well, they don't have DC. Like, so to order DC stuff, like there's not just like a paper catalog they send out anymore. Like,
got it.
It's kind of weird. I know Daphne Byrne comes out.
And that might be the last one, right? Or the penultimate?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
DC. Okay, so Aquaman 61, Catwoman number 23 with a Sean Gordon Murphy cover, Daphne Byrne 6 of 6, Dark Knight's Death Metal number 2 with a Greg Capullo embossed foil.
I might actually get number 2 because number 1, I just read it to, kind of enjoy it without any expectations, and it wasn't bad, so I might buy Death Metal.
There is a Art Germ Harley Quinn variant. There is a Jerome Opina Lobo variant, which I'm sure Gambit will be buying.
Yeah.
Joker Harley Criminal Sanity Secret Files number 1 with the Bill Sienkiewicz cover. I'll buy it just for the cover. Justice League 49, Metal Men, Nightwing, Strange Adventures number 3.
Yep. Which did Strange Adventures come out? No, that's next week. That's not.
That Strange Adventures comes out this coming week.
Yeah.
It basically is, except DC's not really putting it out. You have to go to UCS and download it through them. I think they're calling it DC Connect. Nothing with DC makes sense.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Not at all.
Pretty much, if you want to throw something through a window, Batman Volume 3, City of Bane Part 2 comes out. I recommend never buying it.
Why is that?
It's garbage. Like hot garbage. Like I wouldn't even wipe my ass with it. It's that garbage. Like it's not worth it. My ass is too precious, and it would probably just cut my bum.
Got it. So don't even get it for the toilet paper apocalypse.
No, and I mean, let's just put it out there. Tom King writing Batman's a hack. There, I said it. Like, I am not shy about it. Wherever your Remender thing is, my Tom King, like, basically, I read his Batman, and it's just like the Emperor sitting there going, good. Let your hate flow, young Skywalker.
That is exactly what it feels like at this point.
Something, dark side.
something.
Bat, cat, bat dialogue. Yeah. Oh, I've been firing. I'm blocked by him on Twitter. I'm not sure why, but I am. So he'll never see when I do praise his work when it's not horrible, which is everything not Batman.
Yeah.
Which I should pull. I have Vision. I have the hardcover. I have Miracle Man. I have not hated the Strange Adventures yet, although I
hope it gets somewhere. Like I hope issue 3 gets somewhere where like issue 1 and 2 like gave us a little bit but not a lot. Imagine being a tree and you get killed. So they can put a Tom King Batman on your dead skin. Think of the trees. Think of those poor trees.
So my friend was his table at a convention was right across from Tom King. And he goes, do you think I should show him one of your videos where you told him to go fuck himself for stealing from Frank Miller? I was like, do it. And he's like, I'm not doing that. I was like, oh, damn it. Like,
on Twitter, I don't follow him back.
I might have gotten blockchained. I don't know. But like 100% my other friend got blocked too.
I haven't been blocked yet, so who knows?
No, you've been blocked by other people. You got blockchain because of me.
Yeah. Well,
but that's on Instagram, but
whatever. It is what it is.
You deserve
whatever.
it somehow.
Yeah, somehow. It's the Dane Cook.
Oh, wow. Oh, so this episode has been chock full of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better about it than I did last week. I feel like we came better prepared. Thank you for everybody who sent in to Jen your thoughts of things we should be doing. This is 100% the right answer. So next week we'll be talking about Old Guard, and hopefully nothing horrible in the comic industry happens in between then and there. Be safe, wear masks. I expect us to get bad news from the movie industry in the next couple of weeks. I don't think Tenet's going to make its date. I don't think Mulan's going to make its date.
You know, I would sacrifice all of those movies. I would put Mulan, Tenet, uh, Wonder Woman, Black Widow. I would honestly put all of them on the chopping block if it meant Dune. I will cut you to get Dune. That's my hot take.
Do they go into the Gamja bar and whichever one drops?
Yeah.
Like I said, I expect all those to move. I 100% at this point just put New Mutants on Disney Plus.
Yep. I don't think that even if we saw a theatrical release, I think it would just at this point bomb at the box office anyway. So they're probably going to make more money.
So of course, as we recommended earlier, buy this. Ronnie Barnes and Jason Sean Alexander are great, and this book is so $10. Like, I put my money where my mouth is because I was hyping it up and I didn't need to buy it. I have the single issues, but I might just gift this to somebody just as for them to read. Like I said, as we say always, be thoughtful about the people around you. Like, we have a friend who has been on the show who got COVID, and her husband and her family, and she's made a recovery. We love you, Nat. And yes, release.
The spice must flow.
And that's why I have the Spacing Guild.
My cat says hi, everyone.
Hey, who controls the spice? Controls the universe. And then the rave song kicks in.
Yeah.
I made it sound like Mortal Kombat there. If you do need the Dune fix, watch the David Lynch one if you haven't watched it yet. Just as a get that bad taste out of your mouth early.
Yeah. Have something to compare it to.
I have the first week of August off, so I'm going to try and push for that to be the first week of the Dune over.
Okay.
Cinia seems like she's having issues. She keeps trying to read it.
Yeah.
And
that gif that she posted of like me trying to pretend what's going on in Dune, like the girl just like, okay.
And I do love that my friend Sid jumped in there she's volunteered to be on with us, which is an achievement.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm excited for that.
I am not going to say I'm not going to be kind of little, oh, hi.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll make it even more awkward.
Now that I did this on video, I'm sure she's going to watch this and be like, oh, brother, here we go. Yeah. So, Jay, this is not an I Ching tattoo. It's so much lamer. It is from the I Ching.
That one.
This is actually the ninjas in G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes, and Storm Shadow have this as part of their clan, the Arishikage, and just happens to be from the I Ching, meeting Water Over Fire. Depending on who I'm talking to is what answer I'll give. If I happen to meet someone who's a little bit of an upscale lady, I will say that, oh yeah, it's from the I Ching, Water Over Fire. Yeah, there's also these ninjas in G.I. Joe that have them, but totally not the same thing. I'm not going to say I've done that or not done that, but just leave that to the imagination.
My non-compliant tattoo over here, because it's NC, everyone is like, did you live in North Carolina? Does it stand for North Carolina? And I'm like, I did live in South Carolina for 2 years, unfortunately, even though I met Rob. Like, that's one of the great things. However, no, it's non-compliant from Bitch Planet.
I also had older customers in the store see my Spacing Guild one. I go, oh, is that a prison tattoo? I was like, no.
Old people think all tattoos are prison tattoos. Like, okay, boomer.
I was just like, no, I just have a thing for spice. And they're like, wait, what?
I'm addicted to spice. That's how I got to
it. I need to be able to use the Holtzman drives, and to be able to, travel, I have to do spice.
Yeah.
They're like, wait, is that stuff that made someone eat someone's face? No, that's bath salts.
Yeah, that's bath salts. Aww.
Oh, precious.
Thank you, Rob.
Precious.
Thank you, Rob.
So precious.
Precious.
Come here, precious. It puts the lotion on the basket.
Oh no, you went there.
I did. So thank you everybody for joining with us.
Yeah.
I know it's weird hours for you, Vigilante, so I appreciate you coming on. Jay, also a pleasure to have you on. And like always, thank you, chat, for bringing stuff that may not be to our attention and carrying on our conversation. Dillbot, thank you for showing up too. You're probably long gone by now. Newbie.
Yeah. Which he has a stream in a little bit, so I'm going to try to hop on there.
So thank you, everyone. And yeah, check out Newbie's stream. We will be announcing book club at some point. Just trying to work on a date.
And then book week 2 update next week on, the descent into madness. So we'll see, because you think I'm going to crack around week 3. So
yes, I had week 3 listed. It's going to be near the end. You're going to hit if you were working, you definitely not from home. I think you crack by now, because
I think that that's part of the reason why I'm able to get this done. One, I don't have kids, except for my 2 kitty babies, but I'm not commuting to work, so that gives me, and I'm not watching as much stuff, and I'm not just mindlessly scrolling through Instagram as much, so that gives me the time to read.
I don't mindlessly scroll, but I do scroll.
Yeah.
I've been getting tagged a lot lately, and I just keep having the alerts going off.
Yeah.
And again, we'll be doing Old Guard next week, and Charlize Theron in a Netflix show. I'm kind of curious, especially you're gonna like it because it's strong women kicking ass. So I already
it's my brand.
Know you're gonna be in on that. And like always, if there's something you think we should be talking about, or you want to put something on our radar, you can hit us up on Instagram at comic_chop_news, and Jennifer at Comic Books Will Break Your Heart. And sometimes they do break your heart. One to grow on.
Yeah, either I'm gonna break your heart or the comics will.
Could be both. And a little bit of everything. And like always, I have to thank some of our former guests and friends, and that would be Nat, the Comic Queen, and her recovery. She did an interesting live stream on Instagram the other day, just kind of rambling a little bit. Aww. So I love her for it. She's just wanting human interaction. She's dying, wanting it. Cinia at Cinia Reads, at Gambit's Inc. Gambit, our other co-host and tattoo artist, and I think he just has an indie book that he participated in coming out. I saw him post something about that, so check that out if you can. And oh,
Daria, your butt. Yeah, if anyone didn't see the nasty ass pins that I got some fun pins.
And Cartoon Sid at my friend Sid, she had some issues with Jennifer. With her.
I'm so sorry. I'm breaking your heart with my Remender. It's not just Remender. It's Greg Ticini and Matteo.
Did you read her comment where she's like, she's trying to understand us, trying.
I really am. So, maybe I'll read Deadly Class, and maybe I'll get a fresh perspective. Who knows at this point? The points don't matter. It's all made up. The points don't matter. Remember
if you post anything about Marcus, she'll go nuts because that's her idiot child.
Yeah.
Just like in Descender, Tim 21 is her lovely child.
I read Descender and I loved it. Ascender was even still.
I'm in a weird point with Ascender where I actually like. Oh God, what's the little girl's name? Oh. It starts with an M.
Is it? It's not Mark. Yeah.
Oh my God, I feel like it's been forever since that last came out, but I love her character a little bit more. Like I like her more than Tim.
I don't know. I still really love Tim 21. And
I like Telsa still a lot.
Oh, same. Mila
Mila.
or Mila is her name. So.
Ascender to complete. Ascender is going to go for about 6. I think that seems
Ascender
to be.
is.
I think it's going to be 6 trades. Like
Okay,
Descender.
so it'll be like Descender. Got it. I've really enjoyed Ascender. I feel like the 10-year difference was a little bit too. I wish that they had gone longer, but I understand why they
You
did
can
it.
read Ascender without reading Descender and not
For
miss
sure.
anything.
Yep.
So I saw Dillbot talking about this on Instagram because he finally started reading Black Hammer.
Yeah.
And it kind of went into the, okay, what's Lemire's best book? And I there's a strong argument between Black Hammer
and Descender. I 100% I agree. That would be a really tough one for me. But they're both so different. I think that it's two that you can't necessarily put against each other because there are people who just don't like sci-fi and they may not get Descender. And there are people like me who I'm at that superhero burnout and I just love what
I'd put all of them ahead of Sweet Tooth. I have no problem.
Yeah. I think Sweet Tooth is great, but yeah.
The art still bothers me. Like that's not for me.
That's one of my like least favorite parts. There's some really good like splash pages that are done that I think are really creative, but I think that if it was like Ormston, Dean Ormston, who does whatchamacallit?
Black Hammer.
Yeah.
Then there's that book AD that he did with Scott Snyder that is so ponderous that like I read it all, but I was bored.
Okay, I was thinking about picking that one up, and I'm glad I didn't. So.
Ooh, I don't remember if I've read Essex County.
I haven't read Essex County, but I did read Harrow County by Cullen Bunn, and that was really good. Like
I was waiting for you to shit on it because I was like,
no,
really like that one.
I really enjoyed it. Like when I think about, like I've been really thinking about like what some of the good horror comics that have come out, and that one I read recently, and I'm like, this could easily be on a top 10 list for me for horror comics that have recently come out.
That might be something around Halloween time for us to dive into.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like I was saying goodbye for the last 20 minutes. We both have to go because I have to get ready for work, and you look like you're being assaulted by cats.
One in particular because he's hungry, so I don't want to be eaten on live stream.
Gotcha. It's only when you're dead. Yeah. All right, take care, everybody. See you next week, and thank you for joining us. Bye. Bye.